Uh, Jamie Dimon, he was a big Barack Obama supporter. He was featured in a somewhat negative ad by Donald Trump in the days leading up to the election. But a lot of Goldman folks have joined the Trump team, and it feels like Jamie Dimon himself has had something of an epiphany, or maybe he's just looked around and he sees that this may be a new dawn for American business.
Well, that's right. And what's interesting is, as you said, Jamie Dimon was an Obama supporter. But he's a pragmatic business person, and we're seeing the leaders all across both sides of the aisle coming up and saying, let's give this agenda a chance, and they like what they see. And look at the Treasury nominee. He also worked for George Soros. He's been a supporter of Democratic politicians, and yet he's come out and he's embraced the Trump agenda. So I think we need to give it a good look before we judge it too much, but thus far it looks very promising.
Dan, I think people need to understand why it's important that business leaders buy into this, particularly in light of the fact that for the most part, they've either hoarded money or if they used any of it, was to buy back their own stock over the last 8 years.
Yeah, exactly, Charles. And I think that not only do they have to buy into it, they're going to. I mean, we've had a business environment that has been nothing but demonizing profits, demonizing business, demonizing fat cat bankers and Wall Street and so on and so forth. And, you know, there is so much. You said it in the earlier segment, the end of the last segment, talking about animal spirits. You know, we've got a lot of business people chafing at the bit. I think they love this. I think everybody's extremely enthusiastic, hopefully not overly enthusiastic, but nonetheless, I think it's going to be a driver. And frankly, Charles, I think we've already seen it. I think we've seen in the last 40 days just the projected business environment that we're headed into is unleashing some of those animal spirits.
You know, I agree with you, and we've seen it from sentiment readings, but we've also seen it from the actions, whether it's orders for Class 8 trucks, whether it's, train carloads going up year over year being driven by coal and metals of all things. Here's the thing, Mark. These businesses have gotten so used to low interest rates, buying back their own stock, and getting away with, they call it a productivity, but it's a euphemism for, having fired a bunch of people and learning how to work without them. Do you think they need any nudging to go out there and actually start to build factories and to hire people rather than sustaining their stock price?
Well, they have motivation. It's called the profit motive. And if the economy's growing, they're going to have that motivation. And they're also going to have, hopefully, an environment with less regulatory hurdles. So if they want to build that factory, or they want to go into a new line of business, they're not going to have to spend hours and hours and millions of dollars in resources figuring out how to do it. They're going to have a clearer path to begin pursuing that profit motive. So that's why you see such the response on Wall Street. I mean, they're looking forward and saying this is an environment that can lead to higher profits.